Small talk with adults. Making small talk with adults can be hard because, especially if you're at something like a funeral or a wedding or something like that, you're not going to really be paying attention to what you're going to be saying to people. But having small talk with adults can be a really big benefit for you. So this video will hopefully help you avoid awkward silences, avoid being unapproachable at events such as weddings or funerals or parties or anything like that, and avoid weird conversations with someone that you typically wouldn't talk to. So the first thing that you probably want to start with is being approachable. It's important to not only approach, but to be approachable. So ways that you can be approachable is obviously you're not going to say like, oh, I'm approachable, come talk to me. But the way that your body language is, if you're all like hunched over and like closed into yourself or like huddling around other people or something like that, you're not going to be very approachable. Your actions speak louder than your words. So you want to definitely make sure that the way that you are standing and the way that you're talking throughout the conversation makes you seem interested and approachable. That will make the other person a lot more comfortable to talk to you. There is a way that a basic framework that you can use is called conversational threading. So conversational threading, the basic framework for that is start by asking a question. It doesn't have to be something super in-depth. It doesn't have to say like be something really philosophical. All you need to do is say like something as basic as how's your day, or what did you do this weekend, or what did you do over break, or something like that. When they answer you, you take one subject or try to just focus on one subject. You can come back to another subject later if, say, you get an awkward silence, you can come back to it. But typically their answer will give you 2 or 3 subjects. So if you're saying, what did you do this weekend? Well, I went to the park with my friend and her dog. Okay, that's something really odd and basic. But then you take that, so they already gave you like friend, dog, and park. So you can take that and you say, oh, what kind of dog is it? Oh, I have this kind of dog. And just take a subject that they have and elaborate on it and make the conversation relate to you. So that's something that's really important when you're making small talk, especially with older people. Sometimes there's going to be a large age gap. So a way that you should be able to hopefully make better conversation is by relating to them. People like to talk about themselves, and they like to talk about things that they're interested in. So take things that they're interested in, if they talk about them, and pull that and relate it to something that maybe you're interested in. This is a good way to make a solid conversation with them, because then you're picking up things that both of you are potentially related to and that can potentially talk about later on, and make a basic baseline for a relationship if that's what you're trying to get at. It's really nice to have older people, to make small talk with older people, because older people will start to admire you, they'll enjoy talking to you, they'll approach you in other circumstances, maybe they'll even learn something from you and from your conversation. It's important to remember that in the beginning of your conversation, both people, or if there are more people, you're gonna know that it's small talk. Like, it's kind of hard to hide small talk. I mean, it's pretty basic, but something that is good about that is that it's pretty expected. You know that if you're going to start to have good conversation with someone later on, it really has to start with small talk, especially with someone who's older than you. You need to get things that you relate to, first and foremost, and that starts with small talk. And you don't want to have small talk the entire conversation, but you don't want to start into pretty deep conversation early on. You should let the conversation flow and just be able to kind of segue into things naturally, which is a good thing to have. Making good eye contact is good. Being respectful is good. Some things that you definitely want to do are things that you need to remember are being invested, interested, and engaged. So if you're invested in what they have to say and you're invested in the conversation that you're having, you're going to be a lot more desirable to talk to, because people don't want to like talk to someone who is going to say just like, yeah, okay, yeah, and just seem not interested. So act invested into what you're saying. Invested is similar to what you're interested, but you can use interested as in talk about things that you're interested in. If you're talking about things that you're interested in, you're going to be more invested, hopefully. And be engaged. Keep talking. Keep asking them questions. So if they're saying, I play this or I do this activity, you can say, why do you do it? Or how does that interact with what you do, like with school? How does that interact with your friends? Or do you like the people that you do that with? Keep asking open-ended questions that you can potentially keep engaging in conversation. The whole goal of small talk, hopefully, is that you're going to segue into better conversation. No one wants to talk small talk the entire conversation. So basically, to get a view of this, this is whether you're an extrovert or an introvert. It doesn't matter what you are. If you approach people and you're being approachable and you are being the leader in the conversation, that is going to make a better impression on you as a person, and potentially make you better at small talk in the future, because you're going to need it for the rest of your life. So basically the basic framework for what you're going to do is, number one, listen to what they have to say, and really listen to what they have to say. Take what they say and put it into your life and relate it back to you, and keep on going. Tell stories and relate to each other. Hopefully at the end of conversation, you will find out a lot more about that person than you already had. But maybe, and maybe not. Maybe the conversation will just end, but you'll still have had a non-awkward conversation. Sometimes you just get into conversations that you do everything you can just so that it's not awkward. So the last thing that you want to really remember is that if someone asks you a question, be able to respond with something that's not going to make them disinterested. So if they ask you about something that they're passionate about, but you're maybe not so passionate about, try to still be invested and still be interested in it, but be respectful when you're, dissing what they have to say. So, and not necessarily dissing, but maybe if you're just trying to be respectful. So especially with like an older person, if someone is gonna say like, oh, are you thinking about like helping with service or something like that, and you'll be like, maybe you're not really interested in service, but you can say, yeah, I like to help with service, but I'm really just kind of busy now, but I'll get into it later, or something like that. Really try to take something that could be potentially negative about your outlook and make it a little bit more positive, just to make the conversation less awkward, because if that person automatically gets the sense that maybe you're not relating to that person, the conversation's going to get a little bit more awkward. So, and that's basically it. So good luck with your small talk with adults, or really anyone, strangers or someone you haven't talked to in a really long time. Remember the basic thread work for conversational threading. Make it interesting, be invested, interested, and engaged, and you'll be golden. Bye!